Welcome back, everybody. My next guest is one of Britain's busiest actors. You may have seen him in Love Actually. He landed the lead role in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and more recently he starred in The Good Night with Gwyneth Paltrow and Penelope Cruz. That was very tough work for him, no doubt. But the role that won him thousands and thousands of fans was that of lovable Tim in the award-winning comedy series The Office. Have a look at this.
What are you doing?
I don't actually want to have to look at you, Gareth.
You can't do that.
Why not?
Health and safety.
Health. Why, is it crushed by cardboard or what?
No. Number one, blocking out light. Number two, misuse of company files.
Misuse of files. Right, yeah, see, this is why the whole redundancy thing doesn't bother me, because if I have to work with him for another day, I will slit my throat.
Yeah, you won't do it like that, though. You get the knife in behind the windpipe, pull it down, like that.
Please welcome Martin Freeman, ladies and gentlemen.
I was a free man in Paris, I fell and better than alive. Nobody called me up for favors, no one's future to decide.
Good song.
You like that song?
Joni Mitchell.
They always choose very carefully for the guest, you see. They sit around in a small room surrounded by...
It's a good song.
Yeah. So you happy with the start to this part of the interview?
So far, I may as well go now, because I don't think it's going to get... It's not going to get better than that. Yeah.
Any news?
No, go and try.
OK. OK, well, let's talk about The Office for starters.
Yes.
You OK with that?
Of course.
OK. Was it as much fun to make as it was to watch?
Yes, I think it was. Well, if you were a fan of The Office, then I'm certain it was even more fun to make than it was to watch. I've never done another job where you do genuinely spend 12, 14 hours of your day just weeing yourself. It's lovely. It was really, really good, yeah. You know, people say to me, God, how do you keep a straight face in all those scenes? You know, the answer is we didn't. You know, you just got the one take where we managed to keep a straight face. The rest of it was ruined, you know, by buffoonery.
By giggling?
Like, yeah, I mean, like, just honestly insane thinking, we're not going to get through this, you know.
Because you get the impression watching it that certainly people like Ricky Gervais and the rest of the cast, they're like the messers in the class, the giddy ones. Who got together and made TV.
Yes, I know, and somehow they allowed it. Seriously,
Yeah.
I mean, you know, Ricky and Stephen Merchant, who created The Office and who directed it, had never had directed anything else. And you know, the BBC is a notoriously hierarchical place. You know, you don't just go in and kind of make your own show. You know, you pay your dues and you know, start off as a, you know, shoe shine or whatever it is, and then, you know, 30 years later you get to do something else. And they came in at the level that they were in charge, you know. And so having the lunatics in control of the asylum was sort of it was quite interesting, you know, because it did mean that the guy in charge, who was sort of paying your wages, didn't mind just fucking around for 12 hours, you know what I mean? He was quite happy to do that.
Are you talking about Ricky Gervais?
Yes.
Yes, I would have thought so.
Yeah.
Is he, like, impossible to work with in some ways?
Almost, yeah, genuinely, almost, yeah. Because if he gets it into his head that he just wants to have a laugh, then it's not going to stop. And it's almost fascistic, the way he's going to make you know what I mean? It's like, whether you enjoy it or not, you know, you're going to be laughing for the next 3 hours, you know.
That sounds really unpleasant.
It almost, I mean, there'd be times that I would kind of have a go at him and say, listen, shut up! Stop it! Because we've got to get the scene done. But, you know, let's face it, there are much, much worse ways to make a living. You know, it was probably the funniest job I've ever done, yeah.
So far, anyway.
So far, yeah, before tonight. Yeah.
Well, just starting. Tim and Dawn, the love story, she being the kind of the very ordinary but lovely receptionist who was going out with the twit. To say the least, and there was this lovely courting relationship you were trying to have or not have with her. People just got that, didn't they?
I hope so, yeah.
Why was it so attractive to people to watch, or cringeworthy sometimes?
I think that story was the Tim and Dawn story was. In fairness to Ricky and Stephen, they wanted that to be the heart and soul of the story. Really? You know, I mean, they were quite generous in. You know, obviously Ricky gave himself an amazingly good part and was brilliant in it. You know, of course, you know, and he was amazing in it. But he cared at least as much about the Tim and Dawn thing because they're quite big softies at heart. You know, and they did want that love story to be not only believable but. Empathetic, you know, they wanted people to follow it, and so I'm glad that, you know, people did.
And people probably saw a lot of office romances themselves.
I think so,
yeah. See that, gosh, you know.
No, I think so, yeah.
I mean, photocopier.
But at the same time, though, who hasn't had unrequited love? I mean, I've not spent much time in offices, but I've spent half my life wanting a girl who didn't want me. Do you know what I mean? So, everyone can relate to that. You
Okay,
know?
I want to take it out. That was good.
Yeah, it was good.
You got a big awe there, didn't you?
Don't think I don't know what I'm doing. This is all calculated. I'm already checking them out.
Are you that manipulative?
No,
Yes.
I'm really not. No. I'm a happily married man.
Oh, good. Now, I want to show our viewers just one more clip before we move on to talk about other things from The Office, if you don't mind.
Yes.
So here's another quick look at Tim as he was in The Office.
Okay, oink, oink, oink. Okay, okay. Okay, oink, oink, oink. Yeah, see you later.
Do you still keep in touch with Oggy?
Who was Oggy just then?
Was it? How is he?
He's fine, you don't even know him.
No, I wish I did. He sounds great.
So, were you happy enough then, 2 series, done and dusted, move on?
I always was, yeah. I always
Yeah.
supported their idea to not outstay its welcome. You know, I mean, a lot of my favourite things in pop culture have kind of been and gone, and if you missed it, unfortunately, you missed it. But that's why we invented DVD, and it's why we invented records or whatever. You know, you don't have to have missed it. You can, if you want to watch The Office, you can watch it. Thank God, you know. But I don't think people in the end would have thanked us for going on for 10 years, because inevitably there has to be a drop-off point where people go, it's not as funny as it used to be. Whereas this, as it is, it's kind of kept in aspic in a way. It's kind of, it's always there, hopefully maintaining a certain standard.
Yeah,
you know?
well, Faulty Towers did it.
Absolutely,
successfully,
yeah.
didn't it?
And I'm sure that was what quite uppermost in Ricky and Steve's mind, you know, because as a template for a sort of British sitcom, that takes some beating, you know.
And I was watching the Office DVD during the week, and it's timeless. It's still extremely funny, and I don't know. It's one of those ones you can return to.
I hope so. Yeah, I really.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I've not watched it for a while, but
Yeah.
I mean, I've watched all of them, of course,
Sure.
and I am a fan of it myself. I really like it.
Do you think you feel? Do you need to shake Tim off now? If you're like, that's grand, lovely, did it? Are you kind of? Do you feel? No, that's thanks, boxed off.
Yeah, in a way, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a sort of dual thing of being very proud of it and being very grateful to it, but also. I always said when I was doing it that if I'm 55 and people are just going, it's Tim from The Office, then something would have gone wrong. Because in the intervening years, I would have hoped to have done something else.
Yeah. Do you get that? I mean, do you travel by public transport? Are you...
I do. I mean, public transport is really dependent on how often you've been on the telly recently. Do you know what I mean? If you haven't been on the telly much, it's kind of safe-ish. The trouble is, it only takes one person in a crowded little metal box under the ground to recognise you, and then life isn't that pleasant. And of course, after a certain time in the day as well, you know, because people who have had a few then suddenly get the courage to say things to you that they wouldn't have done at 4 o'clock, you know. So I don't tend to... I'm not out and about at chucking out time, because that's not good time for me at all.
What's the typical drunken, stupid comment you get?
That.
Is that
You're on telly, I'm sure you know yourself. It's not even... because I believe in politeness, and I do believe in treating people well whenever possible. And if someone comes up and says, I really like you, I like what you do, thank you very much. Genuinely, it's very nice. But if someone comes up and says, you're on the telly, Mike, it's him off it. There's nowhere you can go with that, because you're waiting for them to say either something nice or nasty so you can kind of acknowledge it. But meanwhile, you're literally just standing there waiting for them to either cuss you off or give you a compliment or something, you know. So, and as soon as they say, good, fire. Or so, you know, then you say thank you very much and try and walk away. But it's very often just look.
Yeah.
I'm sure you know. It's
Okay.
the same, it's hard, you know.
I want to mention some of the other roles that you've done. In Love Actually, everyone thinks you played a porn star. You know, oh yeah, he's the porn star in Love Actually. No, he's not, you know.
Well, I'm glad you spotted that.
Yes.
Richard Curtis would be very grateful for you not to have spotted that. Yeah, I think it's quite frustrating for him that everyone thinks it's a porn star. But yeah, it's a stand-in on a kind of eyes wide shut, high-end kind of arty,
Art
sexy...
house,
yeah. But a mainstream, not a porn film.
Not at all. We have a still store from that, I think. There you are. That's you on the
How
bottom,
could
I should
that
say.
possibly be considered a porn film? Yeah.
You want to see the clip we were considering showing?
Yeah.
30 years ago this week, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy was born. So
Yes.
this is a phenomenon among the fans of it. And
Yes.
you were chosen to play Arthur
Yeah.
Dent in the lead in the film.
Yeah.
Which was a big ask, I'd say,
Yeah.
in some ways. Were you a fan of the...
I was a
book and
fan without being
series and-
fanatical, you know, which I think helped me because I wasn't. I mean, I went along for the meeting and it was just like any other audition for an actor. You go along and you read with the director and you know you're filmed and you hope you do okay.
Yes.
And I think if I was putting all my eggs into that basket as a fan, then I would have been much more nervous. As it was, I wasn't particularly nervous.
And then I'm just curious about the fans. Like, are there guys running around in pajamas and nightgowns like Trekkies, if you know what I mean? They're kind of a little bit over enthusiastic.
They are, but I think fortunately with the advent of the internet, you don't have to see them. Do you know what I mean? Because they are literally, they exist online and they exist in the ether somewhere.
They blog.
Yeah, and unless you sort of go out and actually sort of welcome that into your life, you don't have to.
Did you not go to hitchhiking conventions?
I didn't. Funny
Were you
enough. No, I
invited?
didn't. Yes, but and I've got nothing against it. But again, because I'm not I'm not an overt fan of it.
Yeah.
Also, because that's a kind of double-edged sword. You know, because people feel so almost quasi-religious about hitchhikers, right? You know,
Yes.
it's almost like a replacement religion for people.
Yeah.
Some people would have liked what I did and some people would have hated what I did. So, you know, I could have turned up at a convention thinking, yeah, they're going to love me, and been stabbed to death, you know what I mean? So, you know, you'd be a fool to think that you take on something like that, and of course, there are going to be an awful lot of people who think what you did was rubbish, you know.
A lot of, people will say, nice guy central casting, he's got a nice face, seems pleasant, he does roles that, to a large extent, that seem to suggest that this person is, yeah, I'll go for a pint with him, sort of thing. Is that annoying? I mean, do you want to be a serial killer? Not personally, but professionally.
Yeah, occasionally. I mean, it's weird because before The Office, I was a jobbing actor, and I was seen, by London casting directors certainly as more. I lost count of the amount of gay bare knuckle fighters I went up for. Seriously, genuinely, you know.
Yeah, they wanted that.
Because just out of drama school, but I think people looked at me and thought, "Oh, you're a bit edgy. You're a bit," and whether I'm edgy or not, that kind of all went out the window when The Office came on, because I was seen as a likeable person whose people projected their likes or whatever onto, and that's a big thing to shake off, and to be honest, it's shaking off that is not such a big priority when it's something you're proud of. Do you know what I mean?
Yes,
if I hated The Office, and if it was something I thought was awful, then that would be something to carry around. But I'm very proud of it,
And are you okay with the fame game then, apart from the? Are you okay with the rest of it? The nice people seeing you all the time and saying hello?
That's fine. Yeah, I think it's definitely straight. You do notice it, and you kind of think, you think if you're getting bad service in a shop when you're not famous, you think, when I'm famous, I'm going to come back here, they'll be nice to me, and I'll chuck it back in their face. But of course, you don't. You just go, oh, thank you, good. People are treating me nicely,
Yes, yes.
Because of course, in normal life, smiling and being nice is. It just oils the wheels, it just makes life a bit easier. And I did notice I'd be in record shops and people, I've been going in there for years, and all of a sudden, I saw you on telly, whatever it is, and people are just slightly more accommodating, and I'm only human, I want a bit more of that,
When can people see you again doing on TV, or what's the next big project you think that we can look forward to seeing you?
I shan't be working again. No.
Ever? Is this it?
To be honest, this tonight is my swan song.
Sayonara.
Yeah, it's basically that tonight. Yeah.
Oh, great! I have that effect on guests.
No, not at all. No, I'm about to start filming a 4-part drama for ITV.
Oh, good.
That's in the UK,
We've heard of that place.
Yes, yeah, over the water and all that. Yes, I'm about to start a 4-part drama over there, and we'll see how that goes. Hopefully, it'll be good.
It's been a pleasure to have you on the programme. Thanks for coming.
Thank you,
on.
Ron.
Martin
Thank you.
Freeman, ladies and gentlemen. Now, it is time. It's time to have a little fun with our audience. This week's prize is one I love. It's a Hughes & Hughes €100 gift card. You can buy loads of books. Look at all those books. I'm in heaven. Hughes & Hughes booksellers. They're Ireland's leading specialist booksellers, and they're celebrating being the only Irish retailer to open in the new Terminal 5 at Heathrow Airport, and they're celebrating the announcement of their new store in the Dundrum Town Centre in June of this year. So shall I come and say hello to somebody? Yes, actually I will. I want to say hello to a couple of people in the audience. Yeah, that's nice. We'll take that music. How are you all doing here tonight? Happy? All good?